Afghanistan's landmark presidential election is on a knife edge. Amid claims of victory by both sides, allegations of fraud, and a warning by the US that it will withdraw security and financial support from the country if the escalating crisis leads to a power grab.
It's not our preference. It's not the preference of the United States. It's certainly not the preference of the Afghan people. That statement was in response to the fact that there have been reports on the ground of plans to declare victory, to create a parallel government. Both of those steps would be illegal. And it's not a threat, it's a fact that certainly we wouldn't be able to provide the kind of support that it is our preference to provide if those type of steps were taken.
President Barack Obama has spoken to rival candidates Abdullah and Ashraf Ghani Ahmadzai and has urged a full investigation into the alleged ballot rigging. The trouble is a threat to the conflict-racked country's planned first democratic handover of leadership at a time when Western states are scaling back their military and monetary commitments almost 13 bloody and expensive years after the US-led invasion to oust the Taliban. The problems erupted when Mr. Abdullah, a former foreign minister, denounced the election over alleged fraud, just as he did when he stood in 2009 against the incumbent president, Hamid Karzai. After the publication of preliminary results for June's runoff gave victory to Mr. Ghani, an ex-finance minister and World Bank technocrat, Mr. Abdullah's supporters took to the streets and called on their man to announce a parallel government. Mr. Abdullah stalled for time in the face of the US threat to withdraw the military and economic assistance on which Afghanistan relies, but he still claimed there was no doubt he had won. The heart of the argument is a poll that saw a defiantly large turnout from urban voters despite Taliban threats. But security, administrative and monitoring problems in various parts of the country always offered scope for fraud or opportunistic claims of it. The National Election Commission admits Afghan officials have been involved in chicanery, and it has announced a probe into ballots from nearly a third of the country's polling stations. Mr. Ghani has tried to appear conciliatory amid the chaos, backing the vote audit and stressing his respect for Mr. Abdullah. With full official election results due on July the 22nd, the clock is ticking on efforts to resolve a dispute now threatening the future of this fragile state. Michael Peel, Financial Times.